Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Vanamali Govinda Prabhu. My voice audible, Prabhuji? Hare Krishna Vanamali Govinda Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Starting.
Okay, Prabhuji. Can you start your video, Prabhu, if possible?
Yeah. Actually, I'll just connect from another device because this video is not working in my laptop.
Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna devotees, Dandavat Pranam. Kindly be with us for a couple of minutes.
Am I audible, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji, you are audible, Prabhu. Hare Krishna devotees, Dandavat Pranam. Welcome to Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Today we are very fortunate and glad to have the association of His Grace, Vanamali Govinda Prabhu, will be sharing the nectar from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto number 5, chapter number 80, Sloka number 29. Prabhuji, over to you, Prabhu.
Yes, thank you. I'll share the screen.
Prabhuji, I will expand your initials to full name, Prabhu, so that it will be showing up properly in the YouTube.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji, we can start.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tatu Jayamudindayati. Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Today morning we are discussing from 5th canto, 18th chapter, entitled The Prayers Offered to the Lord by the Residents of Jambu Dvipa, text number 29. हिरण्मयेऽपि भगवान् निवसति कूर्मतनुं बिभ्राणस्तस्य तत्प्रियतमां तनुम् अर्यमा सह वर्ष पुरुषै पित्र गणाधिपतिरुपधावति मंत्रम् इमं चानुजपति. We'll read the word to word meaning and then the translation. Hiranmaya, in Hiranmaya Varsha, api indeed, Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Nivasati resides, Kurma Tanum, the body of a tortoise, Bibhranaha, manifesting, Tasya, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Tat, that, Priyatamam, dearmost, Tanum, body, Aryama, the chief resident of Hiranmaya Varsha, Saha, with, Varsha Purushai, the people of that tract of land, Pitragana Adhipati, who is the chief of the Pitas, Upadhavati, worships in devotional service, Mantram, him, Imam, this, Cha, also, Anujapati, chants. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Shukdev Goswami continued, in Hiranmaya Varsha, the Supreme Lord Vishnu lives in the form of a tortoise Kurma Sharira. This most dear and beautiful form is always worshipped there in devotional service by Aryama, the chief resident of Hiranmaya Varsha. Okay. I'll try to speak a little louder in case that helps. This most dear and beautiful form is always worshipped there in devotional service by Aryama, the chief resident of Hiranmaya Varsha, along with the other inhabitants of that land. They chant the following hymns. Is it okay now, the voice, or is more louder?
Better, Prabhu, better. Thank you very much.
Purport. The word Priyatama, dearmost, is very significant in this verse. Each devotee regards a particular form of the Lord as most dear. Because of an atheistic mentality, some people think that the tortoise, boar, and fish incarnations of the Lord are not very beautiful. They do not know that any form of the Lord is always fully opulent. Personality of Godhead. Since one of his opulences is infinite beauty, all the Lord's incarnations are very beautiful and are appreciated as such by devotees. Non-devotees, however, think that Lord Krishna's incarnations are ordinary material creatures, and therefore they distinguish between the beautiful and the not beautiful. A certain form of the Lord is worshipped by a particular devotee because he loves to see that form of the Lord. As stated in Brahma Samhita, Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadim, Ananta Rupam, Adyam Purana Purusham Navayauvanam cha. The very beautiful form of the Lord is always youthful, since servants of a particular form of the Lord always see that form as a very beautiful, and thus they engage in constant devotional service to him. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरत्विषे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So once again welcome to all the devotees for Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya online, and it is my fortune and a pleasure to be amongst all the devotees sharing something about Srimad Bhagavatam, requesting all the devotees to please pray so that I can speak on the parampara, on the lines of parampara, for the pleasure of the Lord, devotees, and for my own purification. Just I came from Suratkal, and please forgive me for the background. I could not go to a separate room. Just I set up the Zoom and started from the ashram. Hope it will not bother you. So yeah, very nice, important topic on understanding and the glory of the Kurma avatar of the Lord here. So generally, a tortoise, there is nothing much for a human being to get attracted to a tortoise, is it not? Maximum we may appreciate for some time, but there is no question of loving a tortoise. However, here we see that the residents of Aryama, the chief resident of the Jambudvipa, Hiranmaya Varsha, is fully dedicating their lives in worshipping their worshipable deity. So how can we understand this? So I could hear some lecture on this by my Guru Maharaj, and I thought I'll try to share from that to whatever extent possible. And the topic I thought will be material vision and versus spiritual vision, or material outlook versus spiritual outlook. So that can be also helping as a spiritual practitioner in our life, how we can change our vision from material to spiritual, or our outlook from material to spiritual. Because seeing a tortoise, one may not be able to appreciate the beauty of the Lord in general if our vision is tainted with materialistic thoughts. So we'll try to discuss on these aspects and then take some discussion at the end. Please let me know if my audio goes down in between, or a video, etc. You can send a chat message so I can be aware. So yeah, as long as we have these bodily attachments or misconception that I am an enjoyer, till that time we will not be able to appreciate the forms of the Lord, the name, form, qualities of the Lord. Yes. We till the time we are not in the mood of servant of the servant, we will not be able to understand the Lord's form. We can see Prahlad Maharaj, Ambrish Maharaj, they never cared for their own personal comforts and survival or bodily comforts when they were in trouble times. Prahlad Maharaj always forgave Hiranyakashipu who was torturing him. Ambrish Maharaj waited for Durvasa Muni for a year, earthly 1 year, till the time he came back to offer him prasadam. So these are the consciousness of great devotees who are able to appreciate and get the darshan of a wonderful form of the Lord, especially Prahlad Maharaj in form of Narsimha. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, as he tells in his famous story of anchor, the boatman never released the anchor, and the marriage party was stuck the whole night. Is it not? So this is the anchor of bodily conception. For a spiritual practitioner, it is a big obstacle that he will not be able to go ahead in his spiritual life with this anchor of bodily consciousness. We cannot go anywhere if this anchor is on, and then similarly we will not get the reciprocation of the Lord. Ye yathamam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajamya. If we approach Lord in the spirit of devotion, then the Lord will reciprocate. Bhaktya mam api janat. He will reveal his form to us. Yamunacharya also tells that from the day Yadvadhi mama cheta Krishna padaravinda tadavadhi nari smaryamane bhavati shushtu vikarah. He feels like spitting on the thought of sense gratification from the day his consciousness is fixed in the lotus feet of the Lord. So, what is the understanding? How is this sense gratification really distasteful? Is the taste very bad? Not really. Sense gratification appears tasty to many in the conditioned stage, is it not? However, this sense gratification, what makes it really bad? It distracts us from our ultimate goal of loving and serving the Lord. Especially, we will not be able to appreciate these forms, pastimes, the names of the Lord, which are very, very eternal and transcendental. Till the time we are stooped in with sense gratification in our consciousness, till that time we will not be able to appreciate the variety of the pastimes and the forms of the Lord, especially as we are discussing today about the Kurma avatar. Lord is no doubt very attractive, but whether a person will be really attracted by the Lord's features and form depends whether he has got the mercy. And how it will be decided whether he has got the mercy or not depends on his attitude, how his service attitude. Like, for example, some of the people see DT as an idol, some of them are willing to give their everything for that so-called idol. For example, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's one of the dear disciple who made the Bagh Bazaar temple for the deities of the Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He gave his practically full life, every penny, and finally he did not have a house to stay, and he had to beg for a place to stay in that Bagh Bazaar Gaudiya Math temple. So this is very incomprehensible for a materialistic person. How a person can dedicate his full life for a deity? Radha Ras Bihari of Juhu. If you go, the deity in those times would have been made for 15,000 rupees in Jaipur. But is that what the cost and what it matters? Crores of rupees are spent for serving and pleasing that deities, is it not? So what is the value? Is that value only 15,000 rupees? No. Srila Prabhupada practically emphasized all his disciples to take the austerity to build the Juhu project, to house Radha Ras Bihari, to take all the troubles. So much so that disciples complained to Prabhupada, why here? Why not somewhere else? So much trouble, mosquito bites and rats and malaria, etc. Problems, devotees were suffering and falling ill. But he told that, do you want purification or not? Then continue serving this project over here, because Prabhupada envisioned that this will be a very prominent site. So the form of Kurma is a Sat Chit Ananda, full of bliss. Are we ready to give everything for this tortoise form? We may sometimes feel uneasy that how can personality dedicate his life to worship such a form of a Lord. So when we please the Lord, then such an attraction can awaken. We all of us know the Brahmana who worshipped the Shaligram Shila of Gopal deity, who entered Navadvipa and made bhoga 3 times in Jagannath Mishra's house on the request of father of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. How he dedicated his whole life for a Shaligram Shila. Now a Shaligram Shila is a mere stone, is it not? For a ordinary person, but he practically dedicated his life to serve the Shaligram Shila so dedicatedly, so purely, and he got all the reciprocation for that. Lord was very pleased. He was a Brahmana in the Krishna Lila in Vrindavan. So the residents of Hiranmaya are fully dedicated to this avatar of the Lord in such a way. So this makes us think that Krishna consciousness is beyond sectarian misconceptions that, oh, Lord is only like this and there cannot be so much variety. Lord is one for sure. Lord is not many, the supreme personality of Godhead, but he can appear in different forms to different devotees. For example, Vasudev was so much dedicated to worship the Varaha form of the Lord, and that he got the darshan of the Lord, and in a big mountain form, huge size, so much so that he ended up telling that whole place as Kola Dvipa, Vasudev. Similarly, Murari Gupta was enticed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that, please come, we are all worshipping Krishna form, such a blissful form. Why are you worshipping the Lord's Ram's form? So Murari Gupta, out of his submission and his obedience, tried to worship Lord Krishna the whole night, but he could not focus. And finally, the next day he comes and he begs to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to allow him to worship the form of the Lord Ram. Actually, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was testing his devotion to Lord Ram, and he was very pleased by the devotion to Lord Ram, and he embraced Murari Gupta. He told that I am that same Lord Ram, and you are Hanuman. So we cannot bring Krishna down to our own understanding of our own senses and eyes. Some people compare the old deities with the new deities. For example, there are ancient deities who are not so nicely carved like our today's ISKCON deities, which are so beautifully carved. Sometimes they are just black stones and some basic shape of the deity will be there. But the acharyas, they warn us not to see this with a material vision. Especially Rupa Goswami tells that if anybody do not want to lose their attraction to the materialistic lifestyle, then don't come to Keshi Ghat, don't see the deity of Govinda ji. Otherwise, how much deeply they are attracted, our acharyas tell. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur tells that we should not try to see Krishna, but serve Krishna in such a way that the Lord is pleased to give his darshan or to reveal himself to us. Otherwise, we may see the Lord face to face also. Like, for example, Kamsa saw Krishna face to face, but he was having only hate for Krishna. He was only remembering Krishna out of fear and hatred. Hiranyakashipu saw Narsimha, but ended up fighting with him. Hiranyaksha also criticized Varaha avatar. So the difference between a neophyte and a struggling sadhaka is that the neophyte devotee only remains attached to the externals, but doesn't understand the importance of the rituals which can uplift a sadhaka to higher forms of devotion. So why do not we have taste for such rituals, for such forms and varieties, is because of our lack of service attitude. Our service attitude, if it is not selfless, then we may be not so much attracted. Like this Vasudev to Varaha, to Murari Gupta, to Lord Ram's form. So one who is very sincere in his devotion, following in the footsteps of the Acharya. He is like a dog who can find out his master. A dog does not have to work very hard. He knows by smelling where is my master. Similarly, a devotee who is attracted to a particular form of the Lord in the pure devotion will find out who is his master. Shukdev Goswami is now very nicely describing about Kurma avatar. Who is Shukdev Goswami? Shukdev Goswami is a parrot of Radharani, very, very intimate in the spiritual world, but still he has no hesitation in glorifying very, very amazingly the Kurma avatar, the Varaha avatar, the Meena avatar. So, if we love Krishna, then we can uh, uh, develop attraction to all the varieties of the forms of Krishna also. When Kurma avatar appeared, that was the Samudra Manthan Leela time. The demons and the demigods, they were trying to churn the ocean. They brought the Mandara mountain, but the Mandara mountain, being so heavy, was not able to be lifted individually or collectively. So this is the time the demons thought that this is impossible. They gave up the hope that this can be done. The project will not be successful. But the demigods, they helplessly surrendered to the Lord Vishnu, that he can only help us. And Lord Vishnu reciprocated to their surrender and dependency, coming in the form of Kurma avatar. A huge mountainous size Kurma avatar came and bore the weight of the entire Mandara mountain and became a pivot for facilitating this churning to go ahead. So this makes understand what is a lesson for us to learn. The difference between a materialistic person and a devotee is that whenever problems come in the life, the materialistic person loses hope, blames destiny, and does not make any endeavor. Whereas a devotee, he does not consider it as a destiny, but whatever may be the cause, it is an accident or other factors, he considers this as a will of the Lord. So this is what we can learn here from the pastime of Samudra Manthan Leela also, that if difficulties come, devotees do not blame the Lord or any destiny or circumstances. They at maximum give it to their own karma and depend on the Lord's mercy and understand that this was the will of the Lord. The non-devotee may just see as a matter of disturbance. And that is what reminds us of the Lord Brahma's prayers. Tatvenu kampa susamikshamano bhunjana evatma kritam vipakam ridvagbabhurbir vidadhan namaste jivetayo mukti pade sadaya bhak. How, who is qualified to get the mercy of the Lord? The mercy, the daya of the Lord is rewarded to one who patiently goes through all the tribulations in one's life and blames his own karma. And the attitude is that little trouble was supposed to come, so more trouble was supposed to come, but Lord has awarded only a little trouble for me. So this is the attitude. If this is our service attitude in our practicing, then we will be able to be qualified to see the Lord, the variety of the forms of the Lord. Srila Prabhupada sometimes used to scold devotees. Don't blame Krishna for all the problems which you have created. Sometimes devotees will not do proper endeavor or mess up the things in the project, and there will be a lot of problems which will come. And Srila Prabhupada will be approached after all this. So Prabhupada used to chastise them that don't blame Krishna. So is not that the such a problems which come are due to the will of the Lord? Surely. The cause is our own foolishness or our own mistakes. But whatever has happened in the form of consequences should be considered as the mercy of the Lord to punish us, to rectify us as practicing devotees, so that we don't commit such mistakes again. So even these problems should be taken as the will of the Lord, as a benediction, as a mercy of the Lord. I was hearing that how one of our dear disciples of Srila Prabhupada, His Holiness Bhakti Tirth Swami Maharaj, who was apparently having cancer in the last stages of his life. But what was his consciousness? He was sharing with other his god brothers that what service I could have done in the next 30 years with a very healthy body, I am able to do in this last 6 months with this cancer body. I will not be able to serve the whole community, because the realization which I am getting because of this situation in which Krishna has put me, I am more grateful for this. And that is how Krishna is reciprocating with such an attitude. Devotees are more and more trying to hear from such a personality. Even one of the devotees called Stoka Krishna Prabhu, who was the assistant of a young brahmachari in Europe of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. So he was also suffering from cancer. He was a ordinary devotee, but then when he had cancer, he was given he was having such gratitude that Lord has put me in such a situation, but I'm very grateful to be in the association of devotees with such a consciousness. I'm about to leave my body in few days. So devotees were inspired to hear from him, so much so that he was given the prime class Saturday morning Bhagavatam class, which would have not been ordinarily given. So our attitude to such a situation decides the reciprocation of the Lord. God cannot be understood by just mere logic. He is beyond our mind and senses, and we need to understand him with something beyond our time and space. And what is that? With faith. We should surely use our intelligence, not that we have blind faith to validate our faith, but ultimately it is the faith with which we need to try and understand. For example, His Grace Jananivas Prabhu. So many sannyasis develop so much shelter in him, even though he may not be such a magnanimous or charismatic figure in his speech or in his lectures or his number of followers, etc. Just did the deity worship. But he tells that this is what my authorities wanted me, so I continued for last 40 years. And now he's preaching also, again on the instruction of the authorities. So we should use our intelligence to safeguard our faith in the lines of scriptures in our acharyas. Faith can transfer us from the materialistic outlook to spiritual outlook, from materialistic world to spiritual world. So it's a duty of every devotee to remain in the association, to maintain and nurture this faith, and also act and speak and deal in such a way that others also can maintain such a faith. If we disturb the faith of devotees by our dealings, by our behavior, then it will be a great disservice. So associate with those devotees who do not disturb our faith. Otherwise, it is a great loss for our movement. One devotee was asking that I don't have such a faith, or I don't have such a taste in deity worship, because generally we see that deity worship, some of them are very much attracted, some of them are not attracted, some of them are more attracted to preaching, etc. So that senior sannyasi who was asked this question, that I don't have taste for deity worship, he gave a very insightful answer that your taste does not matter. It is a devotional anga, one of the 64 devotional principles that one do deity worship. So just do that on the order of your spiritual master, and don't worry about taste. Taste will eventually come, and your taste does not matter. Our taste is not the focus, but our service attitude is what is on the test. So this particular topic of material outlook to spiritual outlook, I personally feel is very, very important for a sadhaka to come out of offenses Otherwise, many times we see that when our outlook is materialistic, it can bring offenses in our practice. Once a devotee was asking a senior sannyasi that sometimes he feels that the devotees in ISKCON, they are sometimes not so humble as outside people. For example, air hostess may be very, very humble. Uh, Good morning, sir. We welcome you on board, sir. Please have a nice flight, sir. Very nice smile. But then inside their consciousness is to take money because they are paid. Or a waiter in a hotel, he may feel act in a very humble way. Please welcome, sir. What would you like to have today in the dinner? But on the other hand, some ISKCON devotee may be apparently very rough in his behavior. Hey, Prabhu, please come and do this service. Why are you not able to understand this? He may feel very less humble than the outside person. So he asked this question that uh, what kind of approach we should have when we feel like this. So the senior sannyasi answered his question that what to speak of you, even I also feel the same. He started his answer like that, but then he told a very interesting thing that uh, this external quality of humility should not be considered as very vital as much as the dependency and surrender to Krishna Eka Sharanam is the very biggest quality of a devotee. This external humility of waiter or air hostess is just like a outside covering, very temporary, but inside it is the fruit has completely been spoiled. On the other side, a devotee with having some rough dealings externally is like a banana with a black spot, but inside it is a very foolproof fruit, very sweet in taste. And what is that tasty thing which is inside? It is his surrenders to Krishna. He has given himself to Krishna. Only, yeah, it may be that his dealing may not be the best or appropriate, but very soon, because he has surrendered to Krishna, he will develop the best of the qualities. And on the other side, the materialistic person who apparently is showing a very nice, humble quality, the quality is temporary and it will not last long because inside he has not surrendered to Krishna. So, this particular outlook which we can have towards practicing devotees who may apparently do wrong dealings or have some qualities which may not appeal to us, we should carefully try to see and never judge, especially any senior devotees. We may end up offending. We may see some apparent faults in them, but we should leave it to the senior devotees to deal with them, and we should try and see only the good side. And this is how we can maintain good relationships. So somehow I brought the entire topic of Kurma Avatar to material versus spiritual outlook. I hope I did some justice towards the practical application, but this is what I could hear. Whatever I heard, I tried to share. So just to revise what we heard, and then we can take some discussion. That tortoise, especially, is not a very attractive generally species. Especially no question of loving, but here the residents of Hiranmaya, the Jambudvipa, are fully dedicated to worship, is because it's not an ordinary mundane creature, but the Lord Himself, and that needs a vision, a consciousness, an attitude to observe. So we discussed that how such an attitude comes by proper selfless service attitude. Then the Lord will reciprocate, and not just by our mere mind and senses. We discussed the examples of Prahlad Maharaj and Ambarish Maharaj, how they could tolerate the external circumstances and had full faith in the form of the Lord and got the reciprocation, full faith on the devotion to the Lord, and they got appropriate reciprocation. We discussed from Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's that anchor of the boatman's story, that if we continue to keep the anchor of bodily conception that I am the Lord, I am the master, then we will not be able to progress in our spiritual life. We discussed from Yamunacharya's realization that how uh, the sense gratification is not literally tasteless for a conditioned soul. It may give some taste, but it actually distracts us from our ultimate goal to love and serve the Lord, which is our prime duty. And how Lord is very attractive, but we need the grace to get that attraction by sincerely nurturing the faith in the association of devotees and not allowing our faith to get disturbed. Because with our eyes and senses, we will not be able to see the Lord. With faith, with bhakti and devotion, we'll be able to see. We also discussed about the Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's disciple who spent his lifetime to make the temple for the deities of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the Bagh Bazar temple, and how Radharas Bihari was housed by Srila Prabhupada by a very tough project, but he engaged his disciples and finally served Radharas Bihari. The Shaligram Shila of that Brahmana, whom he was completely dedicated to, and finally got the reciprocation of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the Vasudeva, who was attracted to Varaha, named got the darshan of Varaha Dev and named the Dvipa as Kola Dvipa. We also saw about the ancient deities who are not so beautifully carved like the current modern day ISKCON deities, but the acharyas warn us that we should not differentiate between old deities and new deities. Rather, we discussed the example of Rupa Goswami's attraction for Govinji temple at Keshi Ghat. And furthermore, why we don't have the taste, even if we see the Lord, we may not be able to appreciate if our consciousness is tinged with sense gratification, as was Kamsa's, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Don't try to see the Lord, but try to serve the Lord. Surely we discussed the example of Murari Gupta's attraction of Lord to Lord Ram, which again is a testimony for us that how Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not rigid in respecting every devotee's attraction to a particular form of the Lord. Shukdev Goswami, although a parrot, but very much ecstatic in glorifying the different forms of the Lord in form of Varaha or Kurma or Meena avatar. And finally, we discussed the practical aspects by citing the Samudra Manthan Leela, that how the vision of a practicing devotee and a neophyte devotee or a struggling sadhaka who is trying to improve and raise himself from a neophyte stage is that he doesn't blame the external situations and the Lord and the destiny for tough situations he's going through, but he blames his own karma and tries to consider the difficult situations as a mercy of the Lord. And with this attitude, he progresses further and gets the divine grace to understand and get the revelation from the Lord. The Brahma's prayer we cited, Tatvenu Kampasu Sumikshamano. So Srila Prabhupada also, although he scolded devotees not to blame Krishna, but the idea is that Krishna gives such a difficulty in a form of benediction so that we don't repeat such mistakes. And then Bhakti Tirth Swami Maharaj attitude of how the 6 months, last 6 months, he considered to be more progressive, more fortunate. He considered it more service he could do than compared to many, many years of good, healthy body. And so that was also some revelations and realizations from where we can get an idea that their vision and their outlook is not material. And lastly, the example of how some devotees feel that the outside people are more humble, more devotional qualities than the inside practicing devotees. But our vision should be proper, and we should not only see such qualities externally, but we should see the surrender of a devotee. He is chanting the holy names, he is staying in the temple. He may have apparent some rough qualities, some faults, but eventually it will go away. Fine, at least he has given himself to Krishna, which the outside non-devotees have not given themselves. So we ended up by citing of the faith, that how faith is very, very critical, and nurturing such a faith with a spiritual outlook in the practicing devotees by our own example is very, very important service. for the community of ISKCON. So I beg for forgiveness if I have spoken anything beyond my adhikar, or if something is valuable, then it is whatever I've repeated from Guru Shishya Parampara. So thank you for this wonderful chance to be amongst all these wonderful devotees. Been a long time. So I'm in ICC after a visit to Mayapur and all. So we'll like to associate with all of you in the coming days in Rath Yatra and on Sunday feast also. So thank you, Sankarshan Priya Prabhu, for this chance. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Krishna Prabhu, thank you for wonderful class, Prabhuji. I would request the devotees to share their comments, reflections, or questions that you may have. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams. Thanks for that wonderful class, Prabhu. Prabhu, one thing I did not understand was the story of Vasudeva and Bhuvaraha, Varaha Swami, Prabhu. Can you please elaborate on that? Who is Vasudeva?
I should know in brief only that he was one of the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I'm not sure whether he is Vasudev Ghosh only or not, but the only thing, he was a very devout worshipper of Varaha form of the Lord. And because of his sincere devotion, Lord Varaha came and gave him a darshan. And the form of the Lord which came was a very huge in mountain shape. The size of the deity which he saw, the form of the Lord. And that is why he named that Dvipa where he got the darshan as Kola Dvipa. Kola Dvipa is like a mountain, where he saw the mountain. So that is what I have heard about it. If anybody is
one
more
of the
details,
Navadvipas, Prabhu, Kola?
yeah, more one of the Navadvipas, right, Mataji?
Thank you. I will try to look up. Thank you so much,
Yes.
Prabhu. Wonderful class.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Very nice class.
Adarani Mataji.
Yeah. Actually, what you said is the same thing. The Uttamadhikari, he doesn't see the external features of whatever it is. He just sees the spark in the Supreme Lord, they say. That you have elaborately, you have given so many examples, and then you have given very nice class, Prabhu. And somehow Tata, as you were telling, not very attractive. But I like Tata very much. Actually, when Kurma Kshetra, we see a different forms of Tatais. Small, little bit, big one. On the outside of the temple, you will see a lot of tortoises there, Prabhu. Somehow I like them very much.
You are fortunate. You will get more attraction to Kurma Avatar also.
I know. I mean, I like all of them. I don't have any, because some people, they come and, our temple deities are so beautiful. Your temple, I said, for me, deities, deity. Whether anywhere I go, I see the deities. I don't compare.
Yes.
So,
thank you, Mataji. It was a nice listen.
Thank
Even
you.
I also recently I was in Mayapur in Samadhi, Srila Prabhupada Samadhi, and 2-3 tortoises I saw in the pond which is there near Samadhi.
Okay.
I was also we are all 3-4 were some 6-7 devotees were very much attracted. Yeah, so surely it is there, and however, but we may not be able to worship, or sometimes not all of us will feel that love and devotion as how Vasudev is feeling, or how here the residents of Jambudvipa and Hiranmaya, they are worshipping. So that was the point.
Yeah, a lot to learn from them, no, Prabhu. You see in second chapter Bhagavad Gita, how they retract the limbs in times of this thing. And also just by the glance, the children, they grow from the other side and all that. So that's how the look of the Lord's vision. I think we grow, we are protected. So thank you once again for the wonderful thing. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Kindness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams Prabhu.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji.
Thanks for the wonderful class, Prabhu. Very, very nice it was. I couldn't take off myself even for a while, Prabhu. It was so nice.
And then, as Mataji said, kurma, tortoise, I love it so much. When I was very small, we went to Mathura. I still remember there were so many tortoises in a pond. That video is still in my mind, Prabhu. I was very small. So beautiful tortoises there, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Maybe my attraction to tortoise is not so much, but yeah, very nice to hear that. And yeah, whatever I heard, just I tried to repeat it from the lecture of my Guru Maharaj. So that's what. Thank you for your encouragement. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vanamali Prabhu. Thank you very much for very nice class, Prabhu. I have one, question. Prabhuji, in the beginning, you mentioned about the a boat anchored in the bank, and then the boatman was driving. Sailing the boat all over the night, but he was stuck in the same place. And the analogy was with respect to engage in spiritual life with the bodily consciousness. So, as a practicing sadhaka, yes, I'm in bodily consciousness. The endeavors are being made. How to know that it's actually I am in the situation like similar to the boatman, boat with the anchor and not making any progress, Prabhuji.
Sankarshan Priya Prabhu is a very genuine and amazing practitioner. I've been observing him since so many months and years now. Always he asks very sincerely and tries to practice. So I am also in the same boat, anchored down in bodily consciousness. But I would like to share one thing which I heard from His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj when I asked a question to him in Tirupati GBC meeting. And that was when I asked him that how objectively I can understand that I'm progressing to spiritual world and Krishna consciousness. So it was little bit answer was relevant to what we are discussing now. So I thought I'll share. Basically, I asked him that in GPS, the system we see, the maps they show that your destination is so far, maybe 2 kilometers, and you need to take a right after 500 meters and this much far, and after some time it will show that now you are only 1 kilometer. So it is very objectively showing that we are coming close to the destination. But what is a spiritual parameter which I can take to see whether objectively I'm coming closer to Krishna, coming closer to my spiritual self-realization and decreasing my bodily consciousness? To which he answered that the spiritual GPS is working 180-degree opposite to this materialistic GPS, which shows our destination in our cabs, etc. What is that 180-degree opposite? The more we come near to the destination, the more we feel we are far from the destination. Is it not? So if our internal feeling is that I am more and more bodily conscious, actually I am having more and more anarthas, actually I am feeling like how Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami feels, I am a worm in a stool. Actually they are not artificially or superficially telling that. Our acharyas and our senior devotees tell that actually they feel that. It is not a artificial storytelling or poetic remark which they make. And that is what we see again and again in devotees like Srivas Thakur, who is telling that, see, this is my situation. I am a Kali worshipper. I am a sense gratifier. I only tell that I am a Krishna worshipper or I chant the holy names of the Lord, but this is what is a fact. So obviously we need to learn that this is what is our situation, and the acharyas, by reading this Vaishnava songs, etc., it is we who should be thinking this is as our situation. They are quite beyond this, but this is a natural feeling for an advancing devotee, that he feels that I am more and more bodily conscious. Again, Haridas Thakur, when he was told by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that enough, Haridas Thakur, why are you giving yourself so much trouble? Your body is becoming old and 192 rounds is not practical. You please decrease your rounds. What was Haridas Thakur's reply? I am physically healthy, but spiritually I am weak. So do we think that he is doing it artificially? No. Recently, His Holiness, I think Kadam Kanan Swami Maharaj, if I'm not wrong, he was advised by His Holiness Jayadvait Swami Maharaj, his spiritual master, that now you can reduce your rounds. You are completely ill. You cannot bodily sustain. Then Kadam Kanan Swami Maharaj told that you can give any instruction, but don't tell me to not chant my rounds. So this is the situation and practical proof we can see that as we advance, we feel that we are more and more into bodily consciousness, or we see our mistakes more. That is what my initial understanding is. So if that is happening, we don't see ourselves very great. Otherwise, a practicing devotee, he feels after 4 5 years of practice that, oh no, I'm really advancing, I'm making good progress. Within short period of time, I have made such a progress which others have not made in 15 years. The moment such a thought comes, that means forget about the gross attachments of eating sweets and sleeping and laziness, etc. Bodily attachment is also on the subtle platform, and this subtle platform is very very difficult to get over. And to the degree this subtle bodily attachments will be there, to that degree we will not prioritize our selfless service. Our realizations will not dawn, it will not come up to the surface, and the scriptures which are revealed scriptures, that message will not be revealed. Sometimes we feel we are very eager to find out a solution. We open a Bhagavatam and write there is the answer, or we put on Srila Prabhupada's tape and there is the answer. That means Lord has reciprocated with our service attitude. Our service attitude was genuine and the reciprocation came. But if we feel very boredom, we feel very mechanical, that means somewhere we are either committing offense or our sense gratification has taken over. Does it answer, Prabhu, or sounds relevant, makes sense?
Yes, Prabhu. I think the more we engage in our sadhana and devotional service, our own faults becoming much more visible to us. So I think that is my understanding.
Yeah. So along with that, I would also like to mention that our focus should not be on our anarthas and our faults. Our focus as a practicing sadhaka should be on Krishna. Otherwise, it may become a mixed devotion, because we should not be bogged down also that, oh, I'm a fallen soul. Some devotees you see, no, here, Prabhu, I'm not fit for anything. I'm a fallen, I'm a gone case person. This is another extreme, that he has taken over, he has gone into depression or negativity. That is also not what is wanted. But with that genuine feeling of bodily consciousness and we are having anathas, one should be striving and focusing on Krishna as the only, because Krishna can get us out from any level of sense gratification and anarthas. So that hope and positivity should be maintained, and then it is on the lines of pure devotion.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for wonderful explanation.
Hare Krishna. 2 minutes are there if we have any addition or sharing reflection.
Vanamali Govinda Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam, Hare Krishna.
Dhanvat Pranam Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
So wonderful, wonderful to see you after a long time. Thank you for nectar. As usual, you are very practical. You connect everything to practical. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Maybe I am not a very relisher of forms and pastimes, which may be my materialistic thing. Some devotees are very expert in narrating pastimes, but somehow this is what I am. Hope devotees will tolerate. Thank you, Prasadeshwar Prabhu, for your kind words.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Vanamali Prabhu. This is Ashokatma Vasudev Das.
Ashokatma Vasudev Prabhu ki jai. Please tell me.
Prabhu, this the question what Prabhu has posed, the answer is very, very relevant, Prabhu. So almost on a daily basis, we keep on getting, even while chanting also, whenever the mind directs, we start cursing ourselves, why the mind has gone that side, it should not. So this kind of what kind of, I mean, repetitive remembering keeps coming. These anarthas, why they don't go? And you also sometimes pray, Lord Krishna, Lord, why you are giving me this anartha again and again, again and again. But now I could able to understand that, as we are trying to increase our sadhana, I think this anarthas keep, appearing. So for us to, I think, to tick off, if at all we are coming out. And
Yeah.
as you said, we should not be obsessed with these anarthas.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you for bringing out that point. Just quickly, I will share one thing as time is up. What I heard, and it was very helpful to me in my japa. Sometimes very frustrated with my japa that, oh, I could not focus on my hearing. And at the end of 16 rounds, I feel completely bogged down. And I was sharing with my counselor. Then he told, why don't you just thank Krishna that he allowed you to chant today, 16 rounds? And why always we try to feel that, oh, I could not chant properly? Just give a token of gratitude and see, because we may not be eligible and qualified to even chant the holy names, but we are allowed today to chant. If that is a humble attitude, if we harbor, then the Lord will surely reciprocate. So I stopped cursing myself after inattentive and completely disastrous chanting. Rather, we can try to befriend the mind and try to do that one mantra technique of Burijan Prabhu. And second is that when we get frustrated with the same anartha again and again, we literally lose the strength to fight. In that case, I heard from His Grace Rajesham Prabhu that what we should do is, instead of cursing and getting frustrated, just do the right thing. Yes, we are not able to hear in chanting. I know today they may also not go good, but we have to chant anyway. We have to try to select a way, atmosphere which is very nice. We have to try to keep one person aside us who can help us if we are feeling sleepy, etc. So do the needful, do the right thing, and then your frustration will be under control. You will not get too much depressed that things are not working, because at least you are doing the right thing. That will give us motivation, encouragement, and positivity. So these two things may be also relevant here.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, very, very nice this thing, solutions you gave us. Hari Bol, very nice Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Your sincerity attracted. Hare Krishna. So
Hare
shall we
Krishna
end?
Prabhuji. Thank you. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. I think we can end today's session, Prabhu, with Vaishnava Pranam. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindho vyayevasya पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। ग्रंथरा श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगत गुरु शिल प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। Thank you, Prabhuji, once again for the
Thank you.
wonderful class.
Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna. I'll end the Zoom session. We'll meet tomorrow morning, Krishna.